welcome to Stream of Gaming, the podcast where we talk about gaming, film, pop culture, and just general nerd things from an artist, mainly musician's perspective. As usual, I'm Marcus.
I'm Brent.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Gerbs.
And this week, we're going to be talking about online gaming, particularly online gaming services that you pay for. So things along the lines of Xbox Live, subscriptions to World of Warcraft, PlayStation Network, and something else, which is how we're getting into a little background as to how we came to this topic today. For those of you who are listening who might not know, on the 18th of September, Nintendo just rolled out their Nintendo Switch Online. And for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to call it NSO because Nintendo Switch Online is a big mouthful. And if we're going to be saying it a lot, I'm going to want to keep things short. So NSO
That's what she said.
Exactly. NSO is a subscription service you can buy from Nintendo, which will give you access to several different things right away. First off is an ever-growing collection of NES games. Right now, there's 20 that you just get access to, it sounds like, right away. Mm-hmm. And many of them are going to have some online features, whether it's a leaderboard or co-op play. I don't know all too much.
Yeah.
You're also going to have access to the Nintendo Cloud. So not only will your games save to your Nintendo Switch system or your SD card, whatever you have in there, it's also going to save to the cloud. So if anything ever happens to your Switch or you get another one, you can re-download all your game data at no worry. So if something happens, your SD card gets corrupted, don't worry about it. The Nintendo Cloud has you covered. It sounds like they're also rolling out a smartphone app for the NSO. So it's going to be their way of doing a voice chat. It also looks like Splatoon has some stats that you can track. So they're going to have stuff like that going on in the future. I think that's still kind of a work in progress.
Yeah, can I just butt into that? So, as a day one user of Switch, they've had the app for the last several months now. I think the app came out very closely related to Splatoon 2's release, and it was kind of just their test to see kind of how it worked. And the answer to the how it worked at that point in time was absolute shit. To be completely blunt, when Brent and I have played Splatoon 2 occasionally, we usually will use Discord, or funny enough, we will actually use Xbox Live as our way of communicating with each other. And then it's just a kind of a crapshoot in terms of trying to figure out how to actually play with each other on Switch for like playing Splatoon. But yeah, they're on Nintendo's website, they've been talking about, and even on the Switch itself, they're talking about more games that are going to they're going to be able to be used online, because before the 18th, it was mostly
it's definitely going to be a work in progress.
Yeah.
Another thing that you'll end up getting is you get access to exclusive products that are only available to people with an NSO membership. I think the one thing they're doing right now, I saw it looks kind of cool. They have Joy-Cons that are shaped like NES controllers, but you can only get them if you have NSO.
I was super happy that they also said on there that it's limit one per account, which is great because they've sort of learned from their mistake of the NES mini device that they sold that just like went up and people bought them up all like crazy. They learned from that, and now it's like, okay, you must be paying the subscription fee, and only one per subscription. So it'll actually give people a fighting chance of getting them. The downside to those, what I've seen, is they're really only usable on those NES games, and maybe on some of the indie games that are on Switch that don't require all of the buttons.
Right. And I think they're also going to be putting out a whole bunch of other exclusive products that'll be available at a later time. But that's just their big kickoff project is let's get this. You can get this Joy-Con. And last but certainly not least, with the NSO, you'll have the ability to play online multiplayer in games like Splatoon 2, Mario Kart, Smash Ultimate, and I'm sure there's going to be many others that they're going to do as well. Fortnite, though, is not on this list. Fortnite is still going to remain free to play on the Nintendo Switch.
Fortnite kind of makes an internet connection. Yeah,
Fortnite kind of makes Nintendo look like a complete idiot. Because
without any further ado, now that we've kind of gone with the background of how we came up with this topic, let's just kind of go on. All have various different opinions on this, or they're probably relatively similar, especially because we're all now Switch users.
Woo!
So how do you guys feel about this? Because I could say right away, I'm less than thrilled as someone who's owned Nintendo products and seeing the Nintendo stuff, especially with their online play. Sure, it's not been their main focus, but it has been free.
Yeah.
I still remember playing Smash Brawl online on my Wii for free.
And, Mario Kart, whatever it was, on the original Wii as well. But it's nuts just because of the technical problems and the lack of how do I put it? Your ability to play with friends on Nintendo games is so bad. Like, it is currently easier to play with your friends that are on a different console in Minecraft than it is to play with your own friends that are on other Switches on that's it's crazy.
Usually the best way to play with other people that are your friends that have Switches is to be in the same place.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could see wanting to do things online because there are just times it's almost impossible to be in the same place. You know, the four of us ended up playing Mario Kart over at my place several months back, and that was cool that we were able to make that work. But sometimes it's just not going to happen. Life takes us in different directions. We don't all live in the same place. Getting schedules to line up is just always a difficult thing.
I will say, of the games that are currently available that use the online service to play together, Mario Kart is one of the most flushed out. Because like it's easy enough. Like, if you're friends with someone, you can see that they're online, you can join them and you just go. Splatoon is probably this like the craziest. Like, Brent and I have hardly ever been able to find how the heck you actually do it. I think they, like, as much as we applaud Nintendo when they don't handhold you, the online service, like, if like making sure that you are playing with people that your friend, like, it should be something that they should help you out with.
We would spend like an hour trying to play with each other in Splatoon 2, and maybe we'd get 2 or 3 games where just by chance we were in the same game, and only one of those times we'd be on the same team.
Yeah, like, that didn't make any sense to us. So I think that they either, if, you know, as they go forward here, and maybe that's what the money's going to be for, is to help develop systems. But I think they have enough money to develop these systems. But doing a service that sort of like Xbox Live and PlayStation Now, where you're online outside of the game, and then you can go into the game and you're still in the same group.
Yeah, because I even remember in college when I had Xbox Live, doing something along those lines. I was trying to play Halo with a buddy of mine living in the Rockford area, and we were trying so long. It was school network that I was having some problems with. So I just went, you know what, dude, we're able to talk. Let's just hit queue up in Slayer and just hope of the millions of people playing at 10 o'clock this evening that we're able to get into the same team. Lo and behold, we were able to make it work, but it was still, you don't want to do that. We didn't want to try for so long. Like, we almost gave up. And I know Kyle and I had an issue trying to get on like Fortnite playing on Switch this week.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
And we just gave up.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying. The first couple of games were fine, and then nothing. So I see where you guys are saying. Hopefully, some support can come on through this.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
What do you? What do you think
think
about this? About Nintendo adding this? Because you haven't said much just yet. You're now the most recent Switch owner of the group.
I hope it gets better, like you said. I mean, I think it's cheaper, a lot cheaper than everything else I've paid for. You know, PlayStation and Xbox Live are a lot more expensive, and WoW subscription is like $25 a month. It's ridiculous. But I understand, though, that the PlayStation and Xbox and WoW servers are a lot better. You know, Nintendo's servers never have been a good thing. I've never had like the best experience. Like, it's fun playing with my friends, but it's really hard to play with my friends on anything. So I understand what you guys are saying.
You brought up though something that another point that I just kind of was thinking about while we were just coming up with this topic. Let's talk that price for a bit. As you just said, it's $20 for 1 year. Again,
which is
$20 for
amazing.
a 1 year membership on one console. There's a family plan that's I think $35.99, and you can have it up to 8 consoles. But still, that is a 1 year is a third of the price of PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold for seemingly the exact same things, getting exclusive deals on your console.
Oh, and I think even in some ways,
let's just talk about this price, because this is absurd.
Yeah.
Like this, just to think, how would you think of the shoes of Microsoft and Sony? All of a sudden, Nintendo's just rolled out a new console that has been blowing sales out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like stores are having a hard time still keeping a Switch in stock. How do you think they feel of the fact of now they've rolling out this online service that's a third of our price?
So some ups and downs that I immediately think of. One, they have to keep their price low.
And I haven't gotten it just yet, but I'm gonna get it. But what do you guys think?
Yeah. So yeah, because of their price being so, it has to be so low because of kind of what we were talking about, that Nintendo's infrastructure in terms of playing together is not the best. And so this way it gives them a little bit of capital to work on the development internally.
I really don't think they need money. Honestly, they have a lot of money. But
they have a lot of money, but a lot of their money ends up going into game development and into new console development and innovations.
Sorry.
So I think that's why they're making it at least cost something, because they've been, like you guys have said, they've had free services for a while, but they've been very spotty. So that's why I think they have to put it at such a low price, because if they came in and they're like, hey, it's going to be the same cost as PlayStation Now and Xbox Live, and it was just as shoddy as it has been, people wouldn't get it, or people would find ways around it. But I think this is a great introductory rate, especially. And then it's totally different in terms of what they're providing you with the like destruction of virtual console. And now there's like, hey, we're just going to keep this library of NES games growing. And I'm guessing eventually it's going to end up including SNES games and N64 games. And it's just going to keep growing. And it's, they started with the 20 games that they have now, which granted, most of them I'm probably not going to play a lot of, but like it includes Mario 3 and Legend of Zelda from day one, which are full-fledged games that you can spend so much time on.
And in versus, next month or 2 months from now is Metroid.
Yeah, and then but thinking about I don't have a PlayStation, so sometimes I don't know what the PlayStation Now games are for every month. But the Xbox ones, every once in a while you'll get a really amazing deal where you're like, man, I'm paying the 50 $60 a year, but hey, three of those months out of the year I'm getting a AAA game that I was going to buy anyway, and now I got it for free.
Yeah, but, I got Heavy Rain for free.
Yeah, but but right now, if you're a Switch user, you can pay, even if you wanted to just for the month, you can pay. I forgot what the cost is for 1 month. I mean, it's under $10.
It's $8, I believe.
$8. So you can pay you can pay $8, and for 1 month you can play Legend of Zelda, and you didn't.
I actually am mistaken. 1 month is $4.
Yeah.
That's
so for $4, if you were just hey, I just want to get access to this for 1 month just to play the games that are on that, $4 just bought you 20 games with three of them being the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, are they free to keep or just to try?
No, so they're on. So they're on this program that's on the Switch. It's called NES Showcase, and you can only get access to it if you have the subscription. So you can download it for free and you can be on your system, but every time you go into it, it double checks to make sure you have that subscription. And if you don't, it won't open it up.
Yeah, so launch title games, I've got this all pulled up here. Mm-hmm. There's soccer, tennis, ice hockey, baseball, pro wrestling, but then let's get into some of the meaty ones. As Kyle said, Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, Excite Bike's on there, Ghost and Goblins, Balloon Fight, Super Mario 3, Tecmo Bowl, Yoshi, Donkey Kong Ice Climbers, Double Dragon, Gradius, another Mario Brothers game, Dr. Mario, River City Ransom.
Yeah,
that's the launch titles. And next month they've got Solomon's Key, NES Open Tournament Golf, so like the first Mario Golf, and a game called Super Dodgeball.
Dude.
This week on the Ocho.
Yes. You bring that up around me again, I am going to come over there with a rubber ball and throw one at you.
If you can dodge a wrench.
There actually is a subreddit called the Ocho where people post about unusual sports they discover.
Yeah,
really
ESPN
fun.
brought the Ocho back for a little while, and it was all just like unusual sports.
Yeah, it's real fun.
But these NES titles are looking great. Metroid, like Brent, what you were just saying, comes out in November along with Mighty Bomb Jack and Twin Bee. Then in December we have Wario's Woods, Ninja Gaiden, and The Adventures of Lolo.
Yeah, so I enjoy that they're like every month they're putting on a game that's like, okay, people are gonna know this one, and then they're like, here's some ones you might not have played, or these are like deep dives to people who had an NES back in the day. Like, I've never heard of The Adventures of Lolo, but like
I have no idea.
Wario has been a staple character, but I've never really played a standalone Wario game, so that'll be fun. And Ninja Gaiden, people mostly know it for, at least these days, they know it from the 3D versions that were on Xbox and PlayStation, and but it was originally on NES.
I actually, just the other night, I was playing River City Rampage because I knew of the name, but I had no idea what it was. And it's basically like an 8-bit version of like a Yakuza game. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's certainly a great incentive to get it. Just that you have access to all of these.
Mm-hmm.
Where I didn't look too much into PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold. So it sounds like you get games for free with them, but it's only like a small amount.
Yeah, so you'll get they've upgraded it every time. So it used to be back on Xbox 360, at least for Xbox Gold subscriptions, you'd get 1, maybe 2 games a month, and usually they'd be some indie game that they're trying to promote that it's for a month it's free, and then so it tries to build hype to that game. And then other times it's like, here's a game that came out 5 years ago and we're just giving it away for free because we can.
Okay, so it is a giveaway. It's not just something of like,
yeah, well, no, well, I mean, it's not
100% stuff.
It's not 100% free because you still pay. It's a part of the subscription service. So
Right.
you pay the like $50 to $60 a month, or sorry, $50 to $60 for the year, and you get anywhere between usually 12 and 24 games. Now, in most recent years, Xbox is also included not only Xbox 360 but also Xbox One games. And you can, a lot of those Xbox 360 games are backward compatible. So that means that every month you're getting 4 games.
So it's 48 games a year you're getting, basically not for free, but essentially.
I would say about 75 to 80% of those are not fantastic.
Yeah,
they're usually, a lot of times they're pretty good or okay, or they have some really funny thing in them that, like, Brent's discovered this a couple of times, where it's just like these really outlandish games that are just kind of fun to play and pick up every once in a while. But like
a year ago, there was a
moon.
Stuff. There's some gems in there. Like a year ago, there was a game that came out for free called Marlowe Briggs, which is apparently like this action game that's like if Shaft was a like Indiana Jones character. It was really weird, but it was kind of funny.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like how weird?
I don't know how to describe it. It's you should go and look up some footage of it.
That's what YouTube is for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
you know, there's a part of me that's just kind of going, I'm sure this is the same thing with NSO. It makes you wonder, like, some months is, why am I getting this? Why would I ever possibly do that? And I get it from a business standpoint. If you're gonna put games out there for free, you're not gonna always put out game of the year, something that just recently came out. But if you're putting out games that are just like, oh, you get a free movie because you get this, and you look over it, it's something terrible, or if you just kind of, why would I want that? I don't want that. That's okay. No, it's free, but I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think people just sign up for Xbox Live for the free games or PlayStation Plus?
There's a lot of things with Xbox Gold, Gold subscriptions through Xbox Live that are beneficial. So first is that you have a pretty substantial now, because they've spent so many years developing it, where the online play is pretty solid for like the most part. And you can communicate with your friends when they're in different games, when they're in the same game. Like you can do all sorts of different stuff. It helps you kind of find each other and play together. Secondly, they have the free games every month. But then I think one of the really great things about it are the compounded discounts. So when you pay the subscription fee, like your system knows that you have that subscription. And so when you go on to the Xbox Live store, it'll be like, hey, yeah, this game, it's this much for everyone, but because you have an Xbox Live account, it's now 15% off. Or, and then especially when they have the Ultimate Game sales, like sometimes Gold members will get 75% off on a game. So like that's a huge deal. But the thing about Nintendo is they do that for everybody, like at least for right now.
Yeah, but their sales.
So if I went onto the Switch store right now, there's that whole like, here's the great deals section, and it's just like for a week they decided to make some game like $10 less or something like that.
Well, that's then along the lines of Steam, just for having Steam. Oh, you can get The Witcher 3 for 75% off, or half price.
Yeah.
Or Fallout 4 50% off. Because I saw Fallout 4 is discounted 25%, and it had only been out for less than a year. It's like, really, Steam? You're gonna $60 game, you're just taking 25% off right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I wait for. I'm waiting on Far Cry. Yeah, Far Cry 5.
Oh, Far Cry 5.
I'm waiting because I'm like, I'm not paying $90 because I don't want to get the standard edition. I'm like, I might as well get the thing with the season pass, but I don't want to spend $90 on it. I'm gonna wait. Until it's like,
I think I've gotten
$60 or below.
The full version of Final Fantasy 15 for like $20.
Oh yeah, Royal Edition is great. I'm actually playing through that right now.
Yeah, like I still have to play through most of it, but like, yeah,
there's a lot of stuff.
There's always sorts, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm just not sure if Gerbs has gone through these processes on PlayStation, but I'm pretty sure PlayStation Now is similar.
It is.
It
Very
is okay.
similar.
Yeah, I know now everything's kind of uniform, because last time I checked, I thought PSN was free, and it was for the longest time,
It was.
But again, like we were talking, it's probably one of those, they're doing it so they can have the funds that any profit from getting the online play can go into maintaining the servers and making sure everything is working just fine.
Yeah. Now, one of the things
PlayStation Network Online was never bad though. Like, even though it was free.
I think a lot of it was for security detail, because didn't they have a whole bunch of hacks and leaks and stuff?
Over the course of a year, it was down like 3 months out of the year, and then like there was a lot of hacking attempts and successes. It had some bumpy years.
Well, yeah, there were some bumps on the road, but most of the time it was a good thing.
One of the things that I really think that's cool though about PlayStation Now is that it allows you essentially to cross-play via Sony devices. So like, I'm pretty sure you can like I forgot if it's like streaming or if it's emulation or something, that you can play if you don't have your PlayStation in a room, but you have a Sony TV in that room that's hooked up to the internet. You can play your PlayStation games just on the Sony TV.
Yeah, it's like a streaming service. You could do that with Steam as well on your computer.
Yeah, and that's really cool with that service. I mean, and for some things, it can make it handhelds if you're one of those people who still owns a Vita or a PSP. Then like being able to play maybe some older games on those via the streaming, which is kind of cool. Meanwhile, Xbox, I mean, you can you can do that. If you have a decent PC, you can play those games also on PC, and you can actually, like, I've done it a couple of times where I've had copies of Windows on my Mac and have played, streamed, but it's trickier. Sometimes it's a little sketchier because you're essentially just playing it on your Xbox, but it's, instead of going through the HDMI, it's going via internet to your computer.
So can you lose connections and whatnot too?
Yeah. So, and it's sometimes it's a little slower, even if you're only one room over. And you press a button and it takes a second or something, well, less than a second, but it takes longer than it would if you were just playing it on a TV.
It's one of those, we kind of we touched on this just a bit ago with the the compounded deals. Compounded deals sound great, but I kind of like the Nintendo's approach on things, and I hope they keep it where it's like Steam, where hey, 15% off for everybody.
Yeah, that great deals section is fantastic. There's been a handful of times where I'm just like, man, I was kind of on the fence about this one game, but hey, it's $2 right now.
Right.
I'm gonna get it, or
man, you must be finding these deals, because every time I look in the great deals section, it's like, oh, this is $1 off. I don't see that much stuff.
Oh, it varies. It varies week, and it depends. I mean, we might just have different tastes in what games we want, or either that, or sometimes they also do some interesting things. Like, I'm waiting on it for now because I'm trying to figure out if I want a physical copy or if I just want the digital copy of it. But they have these for games that they're trying to promote. They have the My Nintendo accounts that you can acquire points for buying games, and then those you can use to buy further games or to get stuff that's on their website. But for some games, I think it was for Mario Tennis, and now it's for Mario Party, that if you pre-order it just digitally on the Switch, they will give you twice as many gold coins as you would if you just bought it day of it or after.
Well, and now with the
which gives you, I think, incentive versus, sure, when you pre-order games on Xbox Live, they're like, hey, we're gonna give you this expansion for this little tiny thing for free, versus like, hey, because you're getting it early, we're going to give you this credit that will let you help you buy those things later on if you want them. Like, I would rather that happen with a pre-order than it just giving me things that I don't necessarily want.
Well, plus you now have the cloud. So if anything happens, if you have NSO, you can just re-download it again. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
So that incentive goes even further.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them maybe offering potential further discounts in the future for something. If everyone's getting 15% off, maybe you get an extra 5 for being part of NSO.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Which would promote the incentive to promote a little bit of an incentive. You don't want to go too insane where people are just going to feel gypped about it.
No.
But so another point that I was just really kind of thinking about. So why do you think this was added now? Why for the Switch? Why not use this in the Wii and Wii U? And as a before we go into it, just so everyone knows, the Wii U, the NSO is only for Switch. If you have a Wii U and you're playing online with that, you don't have to worry about anything. Same with the 3DS. So if you're playing Pokemon on your 3DS, you don't have to worry about having to buy something else for it. So why now?
I think it's a matter of human resources. For years, Nintendo claimed that one of the reasons that they took so long to get games out was because they were complaining about how difficult it was to adjust from 480p requirements to the art requirements of HD. I think they did not have the network staff that they needed to do this, and it just took them a while to either build up that staff or to get the small staff that they had to be able to put a service like this out. I think it's a technical limitation or human resources limitation.
So it was a limitation before as to why they couldn't add a subscription service to have more money to be able to have more funds to get more people.
Well, okay,
setting this
so
up takes a lot of work.
So going back some years too, like so the Wii took off, and then they found a way to do the internet stuff. So they did the internet stuff, but they didn't know necessarily how big it was going to be. And then they're like, cool, maybe we'll try to up stuff with the Wii U. And then the Wii U happened, and hardly anyone bought it comparatively. And so they were like, ugh. But then they're like, they saw all these other systems doing really well online. So maybe they're like, okay, in our next system, we have to go in on this, and we have to do similar type things. And they just kind of took a bet on the Switch. And I mean, the Switch itself is a fantastic console, and like you said earlier too, Marcus, it's like been selling like hotcakes, man. It is just like, it is surpassing so many different boundaries for Nintendo, and now they can really dive in and hopefully do this right. But I do know that, like, as someone who's been playing on the thing since day one, that the initial online stuff has been fairly shoddy.
Yeah, I still remember we were all trying to figure out how to do Mario Kart online, and we're just having a difficult time figuring it out.
Yeah, well, because they do these things, it's just like, oh, if you want to play 2 players on the same system online versus just playing 1 player on each system, and then there's like finding your friends or finding groups and then playing with your friends within that group. And it's I wish they could just be like, okay, you start up the game, or you're at home. That's the other thing that's so interesting is when I go onto my Xbox and I press the home button, and like I can see where what my friends are doing. Like if I'm looking and I see Brent and it says he is home. So I'm like, okay, so he's looking for something to play, or he's going through apps, or he's doing it. So like I know he's on the home screen. Yeah, or it'll let me know what game he's on. But like Nintendo only lets you know if someone's playing a game, and only if they want you to know. Which I guess in Xbox, if you don't want them to know,
you can, yeah. Like
but
Xbox doesn't even do that. Like they can do.
It'd be cool.
You can do more than that. You can set up on Xbox so that if you're in Netflix, it'll say in your status what you're watching. You can do it that granular,
which is so interesting. But I also think that
I don't want people to know what I'm watching.
That maybe Nintendo should have some sort of like, you can see when your friends are just on the system. Maybe don't give us a notification when they're on the system, but like it'll show up on that little number next to your avatar or whatever, and just let us know that they're online, and then be able to communicate with them there. I also don't understand why they have to have this separate app for that to work, because Fortnite works perfectly fine through the headphone jack.
Well, I wouldn't say it works. I wouldn't say it works perfectly fine.
Oh, okay. Well,
their most recent ad for NSO did show that Nintendo seems to think that the way people want to do voice chat, or the way they want their customers to do voice chat, is to have their phone open next to them while they play, rather than having a headset. Whether that's a good idea or not is a different story.
I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, because I'd much rather have something like Discord that we can have going, just so we can communicate that way. It's uninterrupted, but it's also blending in with my game. Because if I were to play Mario Kart with you, if we were all to play Mario Kart, I'd rather be on Discord, or have something in the game, than sitting on Discord where I have to have a second headphone that plays the game in one of my ears. So then I'm going back and forth between the two of them, and then they just fight, because there's so many audio cues in Mario Kart. Even if you're playing Fortnite, audio is a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also want to talk with your teammates, or in the case of Mario Kart, just say there, hey Kyle, it would be a shame if someone hit you with a green shell, right? Don't you do it, green shell backwards.
God damn it.
Interactions like that I'd like to have in the game, just that you can talk, and
yeah,
Nintendo
like when we've played Mario Kart, bullying,
but it's still one of those. I want those interactions with my friends, so someone could say, "Don't screw up. I'm drafting right behind you."
I'm curious, because I haven't played it yet, but I did download Fortnite on Switch, and I noticed that just like on the Xbox version, you have a list of your friends that are your friends through Epic Games rather than through your platform. Does that not work as a way to getting games with people, or is there something that makes that not useful?
Oh no, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Like, so when Marcus and I play together, it'll show me that he's online and then just join onto his game. That's easy.
Okay, good.
Like, what the things that I find annoying are when you're in between the game, the lobby and the game, you lose communication. So you'll get cut off in the middle of a sentence, and you're just like, oh shit. Well, I'll also wait until it clicks back in, and then you're like, okay, this is where we left off. Me, like, I've personally, even though I do agree with Marcus that it is nice to just have one headset on and be able to just kind of like, okay, my game audio and my chat audio are in the same ears, and so like we can kind of, it makes it a part of the game. Versus, I mean, even though my headphones are open back, like, and I could hear the game and the audio if I had it plugged into Discord, and Discord would allow us to just kind of talk throughout, you lose some of the footstep hearing that you do when you just plug into the Switch. So that's one of the biggest pet peeves for me, is that that cutout.
Yeah, because we could be talking something or in a bit of a conversation, then all of a sudden you're just gone.
Done.
Or in the case of like this past week where just all of a sudden it stopped working.
Yeah, servers are really spotty with Fortnite.
Well, yeah, that's going to be something, but you know, still, I'd like to have it in just all at once. But I'm not sure how it would work with the Epic Games thing, because I don't have very many friends on Epic. Not a lot. Most of my friends who play Battle Royale games play PUBG. And I don't foresee that coming to the Switch anytime soon.
Mostly because it can't run on anything that isn't incredibly powerful right now.
It can't run on anything that isn't NVIDIA. Because I run AMD stuff in my PC, and it gets hot.
Yeah.
Super quick.
It's like 20 frames per
and
second.
It stays that way.
On Xbox One X, it's like 20 frames per second or under, depending on what you're doing. It's crazy.
Yeah. And Fortnite's just easier on a system, and to me, it's visually
scalable.
More appealing.
Much more scalable, yeah.
And plus, Fortnite fits more of the Switch kind of. I don't want to say clientele, but you guys kind of get what I'm saying.
It's just like a fun thing.
It isn't trying to be a hardcore gamer thing. It's just trying to be fun.
Yeah, it's just a silly, stupid video game. You know,
Right.
it's not like realism.
I'm
and
really
like,
interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing what happens when Black Ops 4 launches, because they have that blackout mode, which is literally PUBG. Like, there's no difference.
Oh,
I can't. I should say it's PUBG, except that it runs at a smooth frame rate and does not require you to have a god machine. So
yeah, it's a smoothed out version of PUBG.
Yeah, pretty
based
much.
on what I've seen from a few YouTube videos. It looks very well done, and yeah, it just works.
Yeah.
But do you guys have anything more to say about like Nintendo? Well, not necessarily in particular NSO, because that's what brought up the entire thing. Was now all the titans in console gaming have this. So, and that's kind of what got me thinking about it, because you know, the big PC game that I can really think of that has subscription based online play is WoW.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And everything else, you know, I'm sitting here looking at my computer. League, free to play. PUBG, sure, you have to buy the game, but that's all online play anyways. You got stuff like Team Fortress 2, you buy the game, you work that. Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, even.
See,
along with
so many other
tangent.
Ones. This is a tangent from online play, but just considering that you're still paying a subscription for WoW in the current marketplace. Excuse me. I think
Drink some water, don't die.
I am, as you guys know, pretty against microtransactions, but
yes, you are.
There's a lot of games that are also free, like Fortnite. And my thought is, what if there was two solutions to that? What if, you could get the game for free and then you can pay for all the skins the way it is now, or you pay. If you're like me and you hate that with a burning passion, you'd say, hey, pay us $15 a month and you can use whatever skins are in the game, but if you stop paying, then you lose all that. I'd be okay with that.
I would be okay with losing everything, though.
Well, yeah, but if you're not playing it anymore, who cares?
Right. And again, we're just talking things that are an aesthetic thing. It's not like a super unlockable. It's not like a super weapon. It's not in the cases of just the one game that comes to mind. When they remade Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, there were several cars that were available DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think ultimately, though, they made a huge difference, but still, you get cards like that are DLC. Or they do some. I like what Fortnite's doing, and it kind of takes after what League has been doing for a while. Where yes, it's free to play. You could pay money to get these skins and all these other unlockables. However, now we have this reward system where, sure, throughout playing, you'll get these rewards. As you level up, you'll get this too. And you could potentially get these skins. And there's another thing that you can accrue to use to unlock these skins permanently. Or you could just try it on out. Or if it's something that you have already, disenchanted, or what they call disenchanted, essentially sell it back, get a small amount back for it, and use it towards something that you really want.
That's a good idea.
I'd love to see something like that, because Kyle and I were super excited that, we need to work and play X amount of Fortnite to be able to unlock this emote or this back bling or this pickaxe. That's cool.
I also like that about, as much as I'm not going to pay to get the battle pass, I think it's a great idea that they're like, okay, you pay for the battle pass, but you still got to earn everything.
Yeah.
It's not like you bought the thing and now you have everything. It's like, no, you have to like put in the time. And granted, the battle pass, you get something at like every rank versus just the regular game. You get them at like weird intervals.
5 or 10 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But like, that's been one of the things that's like, oh man, it brings me back to the game to just be like, okay, I'm gonna, like, today we're gonna try to get to the next rank, so I'm one closer to when I'm actually gonna get something. And I'm like, well, I hope we can get here by the end of the season, because then at the end of the season, those things go away and you start back at square one.
But you still keep all the stuff you unlock.
Yeah, anything that I got during this season, I'll keep, and which is kind of cool.
It reminds me more of like when Reach came out.
Oh,
and they had those credits that you earned to unlock different avatar things that you could get in game, or you could use in Firefight or anything too, or just the different armor pieces.
Oh yeah, there's a thread on our Halo at least once a week from someone who's not been to the thread for a while, but been to the sub for a while. It's like, hey, why can't we have Halo Reach style unlocks again? And everyone's like, yeah, we know, we've been asking for that for 3 years.
How about Halo Reach?
Doll. That's all it was.
How about just Halo Reach again? Can we get like remastered Halo Reach? Please,
well,
please,
so
please,
remaster isn't going to happen because it's so recent compared to the other games that have gotten remasters.
I don't care. I want it.
Everyone has this is worth saying. Everyone has been asking 343 to put 4K Halo Reach in Master Chief Collection, and they have said on multiple occasions, "We have heard you. This is on our list of things that we will do if we can get to them." So it's not out of the realm.
No, it's not if we can get to them. They need to get to it.
Yes, they do.
343. If you hear this obscure podcast, you need to do this.
Your opinion is not dissimilar from many people on our Halo.
Good.
Play Halo with me.
You can anytime you want, Gerbs.
Hey, you just got to buy me an Xbox One first.
Oh,
true.
Or they just make it available for PC, which would be fantastic.
You can play Halo 1.
Halo Infinite will be on PC, FYI.
I mean, that's fine with me. I'd be okay with that if I could play with you guys, and even if it's just Halo 1, it'd be fun.
Halo Infinite is going to be on PC, though, so just FYI.
Ooh.
That is pretty much confirmed.
Have to keep an eye out for that and see
all
how
those
things...
Sweet rhinos.
Well, I think then, unless we've got anything else, I think that's going to be a good place to end it for this time. It's
definitely
certainly something we could continue on at a later date. And those of you listening, if you can, and depending on the platform that you're listening on to, whether it's YouTube, SoundCloud, or iTunes, if it's on YouTube, let us know in the comments if you want to just kind of go off a little bit more on this as well. But you can even let us know on social media too. You can always follow us on Twitter at Stream of Gaming. And through there you could be able to contact one of us or tag one of us in there then as well, because I know you could follow me on Twitter at SylarClone, SYLARCLONE. Also the same thing with my YouTube as well, if you wanted to keep a track on there too. And what if we wanted to follow anyone else here in the podcast? Guys, how can we find you on social media if you wanted to engage with our listeners?
I am on Twitter at Dreamwinder. It's DREAMWINDER. I technically have a YouTube channel, but I haven't updated it in like a year, so maybe that'll happen in the future. But that's where I am for now.
I am on social medias as Augie Basebone on most things. That's AUGIE BASSBONE. Primarily on Instagram, but I am on Twitter, and I also have a YouTube channel, but I haven't posted anything in a long time. I might be posting some stuff soon of a art type nature. I've kind of switched my vision of that. So.
And what about you, Gerbs? How if our viewers wanted to engage with you, is there a way that we can do so?
Sometimes I play on Twitch. Sorry. Woo. Twitch, Goalie G-Dog. That's Goalie, and then G, like the letter G, and then dog, like an actual dog.
Not double G dog?
No. And then the other one is Solid Gerbs, so SOLIDGERBS. Solid Gerbs.
So now you guys know where you can find us. We're going to try to add that at the end of every podcast as to where you can find us if you want to engage with us at social media, because we would love to hear your ideas, comments, and feedback as well, so we can help make the podcast better for you guys, because we're here just for your entertainment. And if you want to support the podcast, feel free to support us at patreon.com/streamofgaming. Even $1 goes a long way, because we are pretty much all self-funded right now. So any little bit can help us get to different platforms, get new equipment, or even come up with different ideas, and maybe even do some more events with you guys then as well. But without any further ado, this has been Stream of Gaming. And once again, I'm Marcus.
I'm Brent.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Gerbs.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bye, Felicia!